So my name's Hannah Pryor. I'm a theatre maker. I specialise in working with people who are typically excluded from taking part in theatre. So that's either as participants or audience members. For the MYCollege project, I've been working with a group of adults with autism and adults with learning disabilities, and we've been working to collect and collate their stories and experiences of this year, so over the lockdown, the periods in between, and we're using those to create an original piece of filmed theatre. Theatre is fantastic in the sense that it gives people an opportunity to be able to express themselves in a way that perhaps they wouldn't during general conversation. Kind of with the participants I work with, I know that it gives opportunities for conversations to come up, often by creating characters and having kind of almost a third-party removal of those conversations. They're able to discuss things and have conversations that just wouldn't happen in perhaps a non-theatre space. Very much theatre is a community. Obviously, in the current climate, having to work slightly more remotely in terms of using digital connection is harder, but we still get that connectivity. A lot of the conversations I've had with participants around what their experiences are of this year are very much about losing that social contact with people, losing their ability to be able to just meet up with people. And I know for some of the participants that I've spoken to, actually speaking over text, whilst it keeps a kind of conversation flow, it is challenging, or can be a challenge, because they worry more about what they've said and whether actually it'll be interpreted in a certain way. For some of my participants I'm working with, they've had very limited contact with other people outside of this project. For others, they have kept that contact, and actually it's been quite nice to be able to connect people together who prior to the pandemic were able to meet up, particularly those who were connected to the Autism Hub in Shrewsbury. We're still working together to collate and collect the stories. So I've been working with the participants in a couple of ways. One is me interviewing them and finding out about their experiences of the pandemic, but I'm also working with them so that they're able to collect and collate other people's stories. The aim at the end of this is to have a piece of film theatre that is almost a time capsule collection of people's stories and experiences of this period of time. The stories that we are collecting and collating have been recorded. So what will happen is they will be adapted and changed into a script. And then I'll work with either the same participants that I'm working with now, or a new group, or a mix of, to be able to actually record those directly. So they will take verbatim what those people had said in the interviews and those recordings, and we'll turn that into a character, into a piece of theatre. But it's really good in terms of being able to enable that communication, in terms of people being able to express themselves as participants, but also for the participants themselves to be able to go and engage with other people, find out what their experiences are, really working to kind of teach them how to be able to embellish those stories, so that if you ask one question, you then delve deeper into that, to find the interesting, because often actually the interesting in the story can be something that seems quite mundane to perhaps the person that's telling it, but when you're hearing that can be something that's actually quite magical and moving, and that often in pieces of theatre is what really engages an audience. So it's getting them to understand that it's not necessarily just about that overview, it's about finding those little gems of conversation that we can put into the final filmed piece. So we're very much looking forward to being able to have this finished and ready, hopefully in February next year. We're still looking for people to be part of the project, so either as participants to perform or to share their stories, but also if you're interested in sharing your story to one of the participants, that would be fantastic. And I'm sure if you're get in contact with the Hive, that would be great, and we can arrange an opportunity for you to speak to one of the participants to share your experiences of this year.